Imagine buying electricity from a solar power plant located hundreds of kilometers away. How can that electricity reach your factory or office? The answer is open access. Hello everyone, welcome to Get Skilled with Disha. This channel is designed for students and working professionals who want to understand finance and infrastructure, particularly in renewable energy space, in a practical way. So in today's video, we will understand one of the most important concepts in the Indian power sector, open access. So what is open access? Open access allows eligible electricity consumers to buy power directly from a generator of their choice rather than buying from local discoms. So local discoms are the local electricity providers. So rather than buying from them, we can directly get the electricity from the generator. That is called open access. Now, what are the benefits of getting open access rather than coordinating with the discoms or getting electricity from the discom? In simple words, it gives consumers more choice in deciding whether their electricity comes from, where their electricity comes from. It gives them flexible contracts to match their needs in terms of setting prices. Maybe the local discoms are giving you electricity at a higher price, and maybe you can fetch electricity at a cheaper rate. So, getting open access gives you that benefit, and in turn, that helps you generate savings. So, open access also does not mean free electricity. You need to understand that it means open access to the power network. Let us understand the concept with simple example. Suppose there is a manufacturing company in Delhi. The company needs electricity for its factory operations. There is a solar plant in Rajasthan that can generate electricity at a competitive cost. The company wants to buy electricity from this power plant. Just a second. So now the company wants to buy. There is a company in Delhi which wants to buy power from a solar plant in Rajasthan. There is a solar plant in Rajasthan and that can give a competitive price. But as you can see, it is in Delhi and it is in Rajasthan and it is far away. So Rajasthan is far away from Delhi. So now the electricity cannot be physically sent from Rajasthan to Delhi directly. Instead, the electricity will be injected into a common grid. The company then draws electricity from this grid to its location. This use of transmission and distribution network is called open access. So open access is particularly relevant for large commercial and industrial consumers because they generally have higher electricity demand and may be eligible under applicable regulations. Now moving on to what is the process to get or subscribe for open access. So first is that we need to check eligibility. We need to ensure that we meet the minimum eligibility criteria. We need to understand that not everyone is eligible to seek open access. Once we check our eligibility, then we apply to a discom. So as I said earlier, that we do not need to buy from the discom, but even to get open access, we need discoms as intermediaries. So we need to submit an application for open access to the local discom. Once we get approval, then we can sign an agreement. Now, how do we get the approval? The discom evaluates our application and grants approval for the open access. Whether we are eligible or not, we can check that later on. So now, after getting approval, we sign the agreement. We enter into an open access agreement with the DISCOM and the generator. And as you can check one of my videos on PPAs, similarly here also the agreement will include pricing terms and payment protections. Now once we sign the agreement, we use and receive the power. Electricity is transmitted through the grid. So if this is Delhi, this is Rajasthan solar plant, and you are a manufacturer in Delhi. Here is the grid in between. Rajasthan solar plant provides power to this grid, and this grid provides to Delhi manufacturing plant. That's how you get the electricity from the generator of your choice and at a price which is cheaper than of that of DISCOMs. Now, who can apply to open access? As we saw earlier that we need to check the eligibility. Talking about eligibility here, large energy users such as manufacturing plants like steel, cement, textiles, basically industrial customers, because they use huge amount of electricity on a day-to-day basis. So first of all, your electricity requirement should be large. Then there are malls, hotels, hospitals, IT parks, basically commercial establishments like these, because they also use a heavy amount of electricity on a day-to-day basis. Then as a group of consumers also you can come together, form a group and apply. But as a single individual you cannot apply, because as a single individual your electricity requirement will be too low to be sent via grid directly from the plant. And there are public sector undertakings, PSUs, then there are other eligible entities also. And the eligibility is determined as per the regulations and minimum consumption criteria notified by the DISCOM in association with the producer of solar power. Now moving ahead to understanding the difference between the DISCOM supplied power and the open access. So the power is same, but there is more choice to it. When we get electricity via DISCOM, the DISCOM gets the power from power plant and we receive the power from DISCOM directly at, let's say, Y price. When we talk about open access, the consumer takes power from the grid directly, as we discussed just before, and the grid takes power from the generator of my choice, whether I want solar power, solar backed power, or wind or thermal. That is up to me. I can decide that, and that power will be transferred to the power grid, and that power grid will transfer the electricity to my home or office. Now key points is, there are 3 to 4 main differences. In DISCOM, we do not choose the generator of the power. However, in open access, we choose or the power source. Here, electricity comes as per DISCOM's tariff based on PPAs with the generators. For more information, you can check one of my other videos on the topic PPAs. Here we discussed in detail about agreement between PPA and DISCOMs, electricity provider and the DISCOMs. However, in the open access, we pay the generator charges and applicable grid charges, because we are sourcing power from the generator, so it has X price, and because we are using the power grid, it has some price which, let's say, is Z. So here we are paying X plus Z. But why we choose open access? We choose open access when X plus Z is less than Y, which is the DISCOM price. Here the process is simple and we do not need to involve much in the case of DISCOM. But in the case of open access, even though we are getting more flexibility and power sources, we need to get involved in all the processes and in the contract. So it is a little cumbersome process for individuals or group of individuals. So in short, DISCOM supply means we have a fixed source of power, and in open access we have choice of source. That's it. So open access gives consumers more choice. In nutshell, renewable projects more demand and businesses a potential path towards cleaner and more efficient power. I hope this presentation helped you understand the basics of open access in the renewable energy sector. If you found this video useful, subscribe to Get Skilled with Disha for more practical content on finance and infrastructure space. Thank you for watching. Together, we can build a greener and more skilled future. Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Please subscribe Get Skilled with Disha. Thank you.